All right, friends. I'm going to read a few more of these chapters since they're short on the There's a Boy in the Girls' Bathroom. We did 41, 42, and 43 last time. We'll do a few more today. We're almost at the end, so we'll have to think of something else to read. The doorbell rang at Bradley's house. Bradley, wearing a cone-shaped party hat, ran to the front door and flung it open. Okay, so that's right. They're at the birthday party and everybody's arrived but the boys. Bradley, wearing a cone-shaped party hat, ran to the front door and flung it open. He had a wild look in his eyes. "Hi," said Jeff, holding Colleen's present under his arm. "You ready?" He was wearing old, comfortable clothes. His blue jeans had a small hole with his knee, above the knee. "It's wrapped," Bradley exclaimed, "with a bow." "What?" uttered Jeff. Bradley ran back to his parents' bedroom. "It's got to be wrapped," he told his mother, "with a bow." She cut off a piece of tape and smiled at her son. "Well, I'm wrapping it now." "Okay, good." He returned to the front door. "My mother's wrapping it now," he told Jeff. He had been running around the house that way all morning as he desperately tried to get ready for the birthday party. He had already changed his clothes 6 times. He didn't know what he was supposed to wear. He didn't know what he was supposed to do. He didn't know what he didn't know. Claudia had given him a party hat to wear. She told him he wasn't allowed to take it off. "They wrapped my present at the store where I got it," Jeff said. Bradley hardly heard him. "Are you supposed to wear torn pants?" he asked. "What?" He ran into the kitchen. He took a sharp knife from the drawer next to the sink and cut a hole in his pants just above the knee. When he returned to the front door, Jeff was standing inside the house. Claudia was with him. "Is my hat on straight?" Bradley asked his sister. She looked over at him. "It's hard to tell," she explained, "because your head's crooked." Miss Chalkers came down the hall, holding Colleen's present in front of her. "See, all wrapped." "Hello, you must be Jeff," she said. "I'm Bradley's mother." "Hello, Mrs. Chalkers." "It doesn't have a bow," Bradley shouted. "Oh, I couldn't find a ribbon," said his mother. He stared at her in disbelief. "It needs a bow." He wailed. He turned to Jeff. "Doesn't it need a bow?" "No." "Oh, okay," he said happily. He took the present from his mother. She kissed him and told him to have fun. He and Jeff started out the door. "Oh, Bradley," said his mother, "you ripped your pants." "I know," and closed the door. They headed up the sidewalk towards Colleen's. She lived 2 blocks away. "Do you want my bow? I can take it off." Bradley nervously shook his head. "Are you all right?" Jeff asked. He had tried to say "I'm okay," but his mouth didn't work. "You're acting kind of strange," said Jeff. "Even for you, I mean." Bradley sighed and stopped walking. "What's the matter?" Bradley trembled. He felt the same way as when he tried to turn in homework. "I don't know what to do at a birthday party," he said. Jeff laughed. Bradley sat down on the curb. "I haven't been to one in 3 years." Jeff looked impatiently up the street. Then he sat down next to his best friend. "There's nothing to worry about," he said assuringly. "Birthday parties are fun." "Well, how many birthday parties have you been to?" Bradley asked. Jeff shrugged. "A lot. What do you want to know?" "Everything." "Okay, well, first take off that dumb hat." So while the eight girls anxiously waited, Jeff was patiently trying to teach Bradley everything he knew about birthday parties. Chapter 45. I think that'll be the only 2 we read today. We've got 46 and 47, and that's it. So we'll do 1 more today, and then we'll have 2 chapters left for 1 more time. We'll be done. Bradley watched Jeff poke his finger into the doorbell and heard it ring inside the house. Then there was a loud scream. A moment later, Colleen opened the door. "Happy birthday," he sang, but stopped when Jeff elbowed him in his side. "This is for you," Jeff said, handing Colleen his present. "This is for you," said Bradley, and he did the same. "Ooh, what is it?" she asked. "It's a—" Bradley started, but Jeff elbowed him again, so he shut his mouth. They followed Colleen into the house. "You're not supposed to tell her what you got her," Jeff whispered. But she asked. "She's supposed to ask, but you're not supposed to tell her. Don't tell anyone." Bradley nodded like he understood, but of course he didn't. "Hello, Bradley," said Melinda. He looked at Jeff for help. "Hello, Melinda," said Jeff. "Hello, Melinda," said Bradley. Colleen's mother came in and led everyone out to the backyard. A picnic table had been set up on the patio with paper plates and cups. Bradley chose a seat and sat down. "My, this boy must be hungry," said Colleen's mother. The girls laughed. Bradley looked around, puzzled. He was the only one sitting down. He quickly rose, bumping the table. A paper cup fell to the ground. As he went to pick it up, he knocked over his chair. The girls were hysterical. Bradley looked around helplessly. Amy picked up the cup and Dina sat the chair right. We don't eat yet, Jeff explained. First we have to play games. Bradley turned pale. Just do whatever I do, said Jeff. A large dog dashed out through the back door and jumped up on Bradley, putting his muddy paws on his clean shirt, and Bradley nearly fell over. Chicken, get down, scolded Colleen's mother. Dog's name's Chicken. Chicken had wiry red hair, a square face. He got down, but he stayed by Bradley's side. Chicken's usually afraid of everybody, said Colleen. Bradley patted his head, glad Chicken liked him. Miss Farigold split the group into 2 teams for a relay race. She put Jeff and Bradley on separate teams because she said it wouldn't be fair for the 2 boys to be together. Bradley lined up with the other members of his team. He was in the middle. Amy and Betty were in front of him. Judy and Dina were behind him. On the other team, Jeff was talking to Colleen. Bradley wondered if he should talk to one of the girls on his team, but he didn't know what to say. Besides, they were all talking to each other. He petted Chicken. On your mark, get set, go. Suddenly, the race started, and everyone on his team was screaming, "Come on, Amy! Go! Run, Amy, faster!" He watched Amy run and touch a tree at the end of the yard, and she turned around and came back. She slapped Betty's hand, and then Betty ran towards the tree. "Run, Betty!" Everyone except Bradley shouted. "Slow down, Betty," he whispered to himself, hoping his turn would never come. He turned around. Judy was beside him, yelling to Betty. "Do you want to go next?" he asked her. "Stick your hand out," she hollered back. He spun around and stuck his hand out just in time. Betty slapped it, and he took off. He ran as hard as he could to that tree. "Go, Bradley," he heard someone yell. "Come on, Bradley." It made him want to run faster than he'd ever ran before. Chicken barked at his side. Melinda was running for the other team. She had started before him, but he beat her to the tree. He almost slipped and fell, but caught his balance and charged back towards his cheering teammates. "Come on, Bradley," they all yelled. He slapped Judy's hand and then bent over to catch his breath. He turned and shouted louder than anyone, "Go, Judy, run! Come on, Dina!" Dina crossed the finish line and everyone jumped up and down. "What happened?" he asked. "We won," said Betty. He jumped up and down too. "That means we each get 2 points," said Judy. Well, that was something new. Jeff hadn't told him anything about points. Judy explained to him, "Everyone on the winning team gets 2 points, and everyone on the losing team gets 1 point. Betty interrupted. "It would come out the same if they just gave 1 point to the winners and nothing to the losers, but this way the losers don't feel as bad." "I'm telling him," said Judy. "After each race, we trade teams, and then at the end of the races, Colleen's mother counts up the points, and the girl with the most points gets the first pick from the basket. The girl with the second gets the second pick, and so on. Colleen's mother has a chart with everyone's name on it to keep track of points," explained Betty. "I'm telling him," said Judy. "Colleen's mother has a chart." Bradley laughed with delight. "Are all birthday parties this much fun?" he asked. Judy and Betty looked at each other. The only thing that made this party special was the boys, but they couldn't tell that to Bradley. "Haven't you ever been to a birthday party before?" asked Betty. "Not for a long time. I got kicked out of the last one I went to." "Well, if you have any questions, just ask me," said Betty. "Or me," said Judy. "I've been to more birthday parties than you," said Betty. "Have not." "She hasn't," said Judy. "What about Holly's birthday party?" asked Betty. "You didn't go to that one." "Well, that's because we were on vacation," asked Betty, or said Judy. "So, you still didn't go." They had to switch teams for the next relay race. This time it was Bradley was with Betty, Amy, Karen, and Melinda. For this race, everyone had to hop on 1 foot. "On 1 foot," Bradley exclaimed. He rooted loudly for everyone on his team, and when it was his turn, he heard them all cheer. His team won again. "You're an excellent hopper, Melinda," he said after the race. "You hop twice as far as Colleen on each hop." "You're a good hopper, too," she said. Colleen's mother marked the points on the chart, and they switched teams for the race. This time they had to hop on both feet. "On both feet!" Bradley exclaimed. They continued changing teams for each new race. He and Jeff were never allowed on the same team, and since Colleen always made sure that she was on Jeff's team, Bradley was never with her either. He was kind of glad about that. He felt comfortable with everyone else, but he was a little scared of Colleen. He was afraid she might ask him another question he wasn't supposed to answer. Lori was on his team for the backward race. She stood behind him in line and screamed in his ear the whole time. He loved it. He had to shout twice as loud just to hear himself. His ear was still ringing when Miss Farigold announced that the next race would be a somersault race. A smile left his face. He didn't know how to do a somersault. He looked anxiously at Chicken. But as it turned out, nobody on his team could do a somersault. It was hilarious. Everyone was laughing, and when it was his turn, he rolled and flopped in every direction except the way he was supposed to go, and every time he hit the ground, Chicken tried to lick his face. Perhaps he would have done better if he could just have stopped laughing. Everybody on the other team was good at somersaults. The teams just worked out that way, and Karen was the best. You should be in the Olympics, he told her after the race. She smiled and blushed. Bradley smiled too. Even if his team lost, he thought it had been the most fun race of the day. Plus, when the girls somersaulted in their party dresses, he could see their underwear. All right, we have 2 more chapters. We'll read those next time and we'll be done. If you think of any good books that we can do for our small group, let me know. I'll grab one.